Hello everyone, my name is Melissa Sunjaya. This is my journey in decolonizing my mind through illustration. As a visual artist based in Jakarta, Indonesia, my work aims to reframe the identity of Southeast Asian women through illustrated wearable artifacts. Each product is handmade through ethical and sustainable practices. Much of my work explores material culture in fashion, textile design, and visual narrative forms. I'm interested in why things are used, how things are made, what are the tools to make them, who made them, and the impact on the society and environment. Tapi juga aku kepengen detailnya tuh kelihatan gitu loh. Jadi maksudnya harus ada. I'm well aware that the advancement of artificial intelligence and smartphone technologies have really shifted the way we live and make things. Many manual jobs such as hand lettering, embroidery, or manual screen printing have been replaced by robotic automation processes. So from the start, I wanted to ensure that my practice can contribute to conserving manual work and traditional crafts. Raising public appreciation towards these artisanal industries through illustration could create fair and inclusive job opportunities for many Indonesians. Ini buat apa, Cak? Lu udah ada ininya. So, I've sought for alternative narrative forms outside books and found that illustrations to be a very affectionate, friendly, and universal language to speak about the complex history of my country. So my ideas was to combine visual narrative, textiles, and wearable products. Ini ada yang kepengen. Oh my God, ibu ini pengen beli. Via bisa. Dibersihin dulu ya, Bu ya. So in 2010, I founded Tulisan as an artisanal publisher of limited edition serigraph products with colorful storytelling about Java, the island in Indonesia where I grew up. I opened my retail shop so I can interact directly with my art collectors, allowing their stories to weave into my narrative work. To explain the provenance of my work, I need to take you back to my starting point. Petak Baru, a bustling historical district near Kota Tua, the old town of Jakarta, known for its seemingly endless array of textiles, spices, traditional medicine shops, and eateries. Itu kayak gerobak-gerobak yang diukir dilukisin sate ayam gitu. Itu tuh kepikirannya tuh dulu tulisan tuh akan seperti itu. Jadi penuh dengan tipografi yang dilukis sendiri. In this rich cultural and commercial hub, I found my outstanding suppliers in canvas, webbing, packaging, thread, and fasteners. At the time when many larger suppliers declined to meet a newcomer on the scene, the shops in Petak Baru opened their doors and helped me find the materials I needed to craft my artifacts. It is no wonder that much of my typography work reflects the vintage inspiration I drew from the fusion of Javanese and European inspirations I found in this special place. I graduated as a graphic designer from the Art Center College of Design in Pasadena. From there, I began working in a print shop. Yeah, dia tuh yang pakai foli yang.
The whole thing is special. This is special. This is special. This is the one who made it.
I I love the smell of ink and paper. The job becomes exciting for me when something was unusual, when I have to fix the registration, remixing the ink, or when I can combine traditional and modern techniques. Bisa dicek laminasi.
Boleh.
Ini ya, cek laminasi. So the technical knowledge of printing, it's an art by itself, and it granted me the skills of creating gift boxes, note cards, and books, and sometimes without glue. So every single paper product in my shop is designed solely by myself. The design reflects my memory of collecting vintage stamps and postcards with blended nuances from the East and West. These skills have enabled me to transform traditional screen printing into wearable artifacts. Why I chose manual serigraph as my primary method. In recent years, printing methods in the textile industries have been modernized by computerized machines to use fewer human processes and thus minimize mistakes. And these new technologies have hastened the fashion cycle while producing more goods, excessive waste, and lower labor cost. I chose the manual serigraph process to reverse the cycle and adopted a slow fashion approach by making handmade limited edition artifacts with eco-friendly materials. Each color application is a lengthy process that involves film processing, screen printing, and heat curing. In manual serigraphs, irregularities due to shrinkage and print distortions are inevitable. These become part of the handmade charm. I draw as part of my research, often not knowing where it may lead. So sometimes it's simply about examining my surrounding and paying particular attention to certain details. For instance, I'm forever fascinated by the texture of ordinary things like a faded brick wall, and I'm eager to turn them into visual poetry. This requires shedding the old habits that have shaped my creativity and embracing new ways of observing, knowing, and producing. I often create forms that convey analogy of power dynamics or a dichotomy. So recently I've discovered a new drawing techniques where I love to work with these red pencils on paper, and then I would scan it, and then I would translate it into digitally with Procreate or Illustrators. So from this drawing, I created this book, Matu. And it's wearable artifacts. So I question, how can visual art give voice to the silenced and the marginalized? My storytelling work subverts the traditional narratives of the Javanese and the gentlest people in the world. At Falmouth University's postgraduate online program, I honed my illustration practice using theoretical context to reframe history. Matu, meaning escape in Javanese, is a short graphic novel I authored, conceived as a supplemental reading to an essential book titled Perempuan-Perempuan Perkasa, or in English, Mighty Women of Java in the 18th and 19th century by Peter Carey and Vincent Hubin. So Matu is featured in my 2024 wearable art collection and offers an understanding of Javanese history made accessible through personal storytelling within a broader cultural, social, and political context. I designed these soft goods accessories with silhouettes tailored to overlooked roles such as a bag for working mothers, a full-time father, or homemakers. So this is Tatan. I work with him for 12 years now. I've developed all my product designs with him together, and to make sure that every cutting pattern has zero waste. For every collection, me and Tatan, we have to prepare this
to give it to print and to make sure that our sewing artisans understand the collection, the technicality of the collection. For this one, this is called Annex Purse Large. And so that's the prototype. So for this one, for example, we would have to prepare sheets like this, the way it looks from the back, and then the way it looks as a sheet, the cutting pattern, and then we have to prepare the film. This is a 3-color job. And then we have to prepare this technical package where it listed basically how you cut the sheets, the technicality of the sewing, and then also the component list. For this one, this is a new bag called Maker Bag. Can we see a Maker Bag? So it's a tote, it's a zip tote with loops, alternative loops on the top and on the side where you can attach this bag straps, which we make in many colors and lengths. These wearable artifacts are storytelling tools that not only disseminate an empowering story, but also invite their audience to become integral to the storytelling process itself. A 2016 UNESCO survey revealed that only 1 in every 1,000 Indonesians showed an active interest in reading. This makes it challenging to convey history through the conventional platforms like literature. Therefore, visual art becomes an important narrative device for engaging in dialogues on complex themes like decolonizing the mind. The artifacts encapsulating my mark as the maker and brand values may be repurposed by the owners, perhaps as gifts, letters, statements, reminders, or adornments. So every year, I decide on a color palette. And sometimes I reuse some colors for the following years. Sometimes I change a few colors to freshen up the collection. And the mobility and functions of these artifacts on the human body aim to eventually mark an empowering culture, inviting everyone to belong to a new multicultural society, regardless of race, class, gender, age, shape, or ability. Each piece is handmade one by one. So when I set out the journey of creating Tulisan, the sewing artisans I hired had the experience of an upholstery and garment technicians, but had yet to produce bags or accessories. So we studied the crafts of making bags from scratch. I explored zero-waste techniques in all our cutting patterns and kept ongoing research in upcycling materials and using natural fibers. Tulisan artisans and employees receive wages and compensation above the government-set work standards. Furthermore, we have refrained from using leather since 2015 or any processes such as bleaching or chemical dye that could harm nature or animals. So in a contemporary context, our handmade wearable collection have become accessible storytelling devices, bridging history, sustainability, and equitable work practices. Sharing this infrastructure creates a circular economy that empowers the local community. I shared this infrastructure with KDM, a nonprofit organization that rescues and shelters abandoned street children. There, I volunteered to give workshops on creative thinking and sewing. In 2011, after 1 year of training, KDM produced my illustrated character, the Pepe doll, as a soft toy charm. Ever since then, the KDM senior youth have made these dolls using Tulisan scrap fabric. All sale profits from these dolls are returned to the KDM to support their child rescue endeavors. Subsequent to this project, I created Tulisan Air, Artist in Residence, as an avenue for multidisciplinary artists to collaborate using our artisanal infrastructure. The program helps fund their research and education in the arts. It has made huge impact for these artists. Breaking the myth. In in 2010, one of the biggest challenges in starting this journey was that only a few believed in my country's artisanal craftsmanship or the value of visual narratives. Given Indonesia's pervasive patriarchy and lingering colonialist-inspired prejudices, navigating the landscape as a female artist and socialpreneur has presented enormous challenges. This environment fosters an unspoken inferiority complex amongst Indonesians, which quiets the female perspectives and undervalues local creations against Western imports. It took me a long time to realize that this mental boundary is connected to our colonized past. So I want to break the myth that made in Indonesia is not enough. I think I can do this. I can do this with you.